Troubling new signs for the private sector. A U.S. company tasked with making military uniforms is forced to shed hundreds of jobs that are now being handed over to federal inmates. Elizabeth Pran joins us live from Atlanta with the story. So what's happening, Elizabeth?
Well, Arthel, these small businesses say they simply can't compete with cheap prison labor that's being sponsored by the government. So they're saying they're seeing mass losses in the private sector. Two companies I want to talk about really show this emerging trend. American Apparel and American Power Source. Both have been manufacturing Army uniforms for about a decade. They've laid off hundreds of workers between the two companies this year alone. The uniforms that they normally stitch are now being made by federal inmates in the federal prison industries, which is a government-sponsored program that has first right of refusal by law to these type of contracts. Now, those on the losing end are workers in the private sector.
Unfortunately, what comes to bear now as demand for military uniforms begin to decrease, budgets decrease, the percentage that federal prison industries has somewhat remains the same, and the problem gets bigger for us.
Sure.
And work gets fewer, so therefore we have to lay people off.
Wilson went on to say that he charges $5 less per uniform, but says because the FPI is guaranteed a certain percentage of the market, he simply can't sustain his workforce with the lagging demand. Now, his story, among others, has caught the attention of Washington lawmakers. They say they're pushing legislation to stop it. Listen.
I think absolutely goes at the heart of anybody's sense of fair play and a level playing field. When the rules are in their favor, it really puts our private sector companies at a disadvantage when they're trying to go in and bid for this government work.
Now, FPI did send a statement to Fox News, and it reads, "It is important to note that FPI produces only 7% of the textile garments purchased by DLA. The other 93% are produced by other entities. FPI's percentage has remained fairly consistent over the past decade with slight decline." Now, the law has remained unchanged since the 1930s, but what lawmakers hope to change is to really rein in the scope of the power of FPI, and what they want to accomplish is, they say, a competitive marketplace. Arthel?
All righty, Elizabeth Pran live in the ATL.